next lesson. Here we're going to be talking about absolute value. So, when you think about absolute value, the very first thing that should come to your mind is a number line. Absolute value is one of those things that we can absolutely visualize. This point is going to mark 0. Then we're going to mark some points off from there. We're going to make that 3, this 2, this will be 1, and we'll go back the other direction. This will be -3, this will be -2, this will be -1. Okay. So, when you think about the absolute value of a number, the absolute value of a number is equal to that number's distance from 0. So, if we were to ask what's the absolute value of 1, the distance from 0 to 1 is 1. Likewise, if we were to ask what's the absolute value of -1, the distance from 0 to -1 is again 1. So, with that in mind, let me show you what a absolute value expression looks like. Here I've written the absolute value. These two brackets on either side of 2 represent absolute value. So when we hear the absolute value of 2, how far is 2 from 0? It's 2. 1, 2. 2. So likewise, what is the absolute value of -3? What does that equal? Well, when we look, -3 is 3 away from 1. So the absolute value of -3 is 3. All right, so an important rule about absolute values are that absolute value always non-negative. Always non-negative. An absolute value will always be non-negative. Okay. So we're looking at the total distance from 0. Let's consider some practice problems for your benefit. I'm just going to write this one down. Think about it. What is the absolute value of -9? Hopefully you answered that the value is 9. And I'm going to erase that. Well, we've seen how to calculate the absolute value when we have a single number. But you're also going to need to know how to calculate the absolute value when you see something like this, 4 minus 7. Okay? We have to know how to calculate the absolute value when we see 4 minus 7. So when we see that, what we do is we conduct the operation within the bracket or the lines, and then we find our answer using the technique you just used. So 4 minus 7 is -3, and it's the absolute value of -3, which equals 3. And a way to visualize that is to travel over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to travel back 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a way to visualize it. So now let's consider another example for you here. What is the absolute value of negative 2 plus 5? Let's do it the counting way. Negative 2, 1, 2 from 0, plus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The absolute value is 3, equals 3. Now the other way to approach that problem is to ask, what is negative 2 plus 5? Well, it's the absolute value of 3, which we know equals 3. Okay, let me go down here. Now I'm going to wrap all of that up. Anytime you have an absolute value, you're thinking about how far from 0. Oops. How far? Gosh, that looks terrible. You're thinking about how far from 0. 0. Okay? And you also know always non-negative. Non-negative. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with a few problems, and it's your turn. I'm just going to leave you with them and do your best with them and challenge yourself. So the absolute value of 3 minus 8, the absolute value of 6 plus 4, the absolute value of 2 times 3, and the absolute value of, let's say, 3 minus 4. All right, they're all yours. And if you get stuck and you're not sure what to do, rewind the video, watch how I did it, and try it for yourself. Remember, you will learn more by doing than watching.